He made an official announcement just recently where Trump says that he's going to be revealing everything that the government is hiding from the common public. And he also stated that the government knows everything and they're kind of, hiding these things.
Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should.
Drones?
Well, you had said that you thought the government knew what was happening with these drones over New Jersey. There were some by Bedminster.
I don't know. They're over Bedminster a lot. So
What happened?
I'm going to give you a report on drones about one day into the administration.
And the best thing about Trump is that he has now promised that he's going to be revealing all of these information one day after he gets into the administration.
Glenn was telling me today that in Virginia they have drones all over the place too, and nobody's reporting it. I don't know why they're not. Do you want to say something about it?
Just one quick comment, which
Wow.
is we are home to the
Why is no one
largest
reporting
base
it?
in the world in Quantico, and we house a lot of the SEAL teams and have a huge national security infrastructure. And now for 2 years running, we have had drone incursion over secure airspace, and we still don't know why.
Is it dangerous?
Well, I can tell you this. While we were dealing with a terrorist attack in New Orleans, we had drones being flown over our nuclear reactors in Louisiana.
Wow.
And we brought that attention to the FAA. We've been asking the FAA to give these states the ability to mitigate these drones. And it's sitting on some bureaucrat's desk. And that's real.
Wow. It's flying across nuclear power plant, and what are they even doing? Surveilling all the information and stuff. What if it's the Anunnakis, the ones, that lived before us humans, the ones that built the pyramids and stuff?
Nobody knows. They don't want to talk about it. Go ahead, Governor. You were going to say.
I was just going to say we have drones in Wyoming flying over our infrastructure as well. And it's incredibly frustrating that we not only have no way of knowing what it is, but nobody knows how to deal with them.
They don't want to talk
Why?
about it. And
Why is that the
nobody knows why.
case?
They don't want to talk about it. That could be us sending drones. I hope that's the case. Us doing it and doing research, and maybe they don't want to talk about it from that standpoint. I hope it's not an enemy, but we're going to find out on the 21st, the day after. You have to give me a little time for the inauguration.
That's
but
good.
Shortly thereafter, we'll give you a report.
That's
on it.
good.
We'll tell you exactly what it is. They know. And it's very strange that they aren't talking about it.
That's actually pretty good, that he's finally admitting that he's going to give us like a full information once he gets into the administration. Now, what's weird about this whole stuff is that recently an ex-astronaut who has been working in NASA, he admits that they have been having a lot of contacts with extraterrestrial creatures, and their appearance is very bizarre. They look very different from human beings, and he actually gives us like a full-on explanation as to what they encountered, what NASA knows, and what kind of things that, these guys are not revealing to the common public. So take a look at this stuff. He says some very interesting things
that civilizations
in this interview.
have been visiting us for a very long time, that their appearance is bizarre from any kind of traditional materialistic Western point of view, that these visitors use the technologies of consciousness. They use toroids, they use co-rotating magnetic disks for their propulsion systems. That seems to be a common denominator of the UFO phenomenon, and how they can manipulate time and space locally so that they can have their own anti-gravity propulsion and their own field of energy that's isolated, gravitational field, electrogravitational. Is abundant evidence that
Wow. They're having some technology that's way beyond what we humans possess. Anti-gravity technology, which means that they're going to fly however they want. Despite of how the gravity pulls, they're still going to be able to fly, and instantly they're going to change all different directions. And it seems like, it's in the most Hollywood style kind of disc-shaped thing. I don't know, for some reason, ever since we were kids, it seems like, we're kind of programmed into thinking that aliens or UFOs, they basically have the saucer or a disc shape of a space shuttle. And that's the kind of mindset that, the Hollywood or cartoons or movies and anything, basically, they've just pushed on this kind of mindset onto us. And now it seems like all the things that we're seeing happening around us, and all of these scientists and everyone that kind of reveal this information, they are basically stating that it looks exactly like what you're seeing in the cartoons. Like they come in a disc-shaped stuff, and they can fly however they want, and they have no means of following the nature or gravity or whatever. Now, what's interesting about this ex-NASA astronaut, he mentions that these beings, they kind of use the technology which involves consciousness. I don't know what exactly he means by that, because in this particular phrase, what he mentions,
use the technologies of consciousness. They use toroids. They use...
You see, they use consciousness. Does that sound familiar? Because demons are the ones that use consciousness in order to control consciousness. What if these are the demons? What if these are the Anunnakis, the ones that lived before we humans did, the ones that built the pyramid, the ones that are also mentioned in the Bible called as the fallen angels that lived before humans did. And apparently they rebelled against God and they live underwater. They are not coming from space. They actually live with us inside Earth. Now there's a recent interview that happened with Jesse Michaels. This guy, he claims he has seen these aliens and their technology face to face and how they look and what kind of technology they possess. And one of the things that he says is just absolutely nuts. Just
like a
take a look at this stuff.
Like a gauntlet, yeah. And it had like a crystal type of display screen. Above that display screen were these hieroglyphic symbols that I started to see appear.
What?
Yeah. Not only did I see the symbols, but they were like changing to different symbols. So there was a movement to them as well. So they weren't just like static.
And now they're projecting.
The things that this guy's actually mentioning, it kind of just reminds me of, if you guys have seen this alien movie called Predator, you know that the Predator uses some sort of a technology which is like a gauntlet, right? And this gauntlet, apparently it has some sort of a touch screen, and then the images that he's describing also looks very similar to this one right here. You see, and they have this in their wrist. This is the kind of technology that he's been seeing on the wrist of these aliens. All the Hollywood movies and everything that we've been seeing so far are the things that, you know, the government and the elites and people, they might have just, you know, had contact with these creatures before us people even knew. What if these things were just kept as a secret and, you know, they were just preparing us to get ready for this very day where we are going to be facing them. So it just seems like, you know, they were kind of preparing our mindsets to, you know, get ready to witness whatever is going to be coming up in the future. And that's probably why they even made these movies and stuff like that based on aliens and kind of depicted the movies based off of what they have actually seen or had contact.
They were like dark red symbols. It was like, I describe it as a mix of Egyptian and Japanese. And they were just flipping from the bottom up really, really fast. Just flip, 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 paragraph, sentence. And it's hovering right in front of my wall, like above one of their heads.
Wow.
And one thing that I think is worth noting is that there was only one English symbol that was shown about 3 to 4 times. Everything else was these hieroglyphs.
And what was it?
DNA in capital letters.
That's like the symbol that was shown in English, just DNA. I think it kind of reminds me of, you know, the similar story where, you know, a couple of guys, they kind of did this experiment with the lasers, which I made a video about last night. And in this experiment, they kind of just, you know, smoked the DMTs and they use these lasers. And there is a very similar effect that they get to see where they kind of, you know, see all of these symbols popping up, which looks like an Anunnaki language for some reason. They just view it just like that.
What the fuck? Oh, I see that. I feel it.
I've been under the influence of mind-altering substances a lot, but I've never seen anything like that.
And a lot of people, you know, they claim that if you smoke DMTs, you usually see these things, and it's just something that happens with your brain and whatnot. But I'm not sure. I haven't smoked DMT yet, so I have no idea what kind of symbols they're talking about. But it seems like most of the whistleblowers who have actually seen these alien creatures or had been in contact with them, and most of them kind of say very similar things. And, you know, they all saw this sort of symbols that kind of popped out of their either space shuttles or out of their equipments that they seem to be wearing on their body armors.
No wings.
Look at this.
No motors. There was no propellers. There was no identification whatsoever that were identified as a aircraft that I would know. There was a bumper on the bottom part of it. On that bumper, there was what I call, it looked to me like the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. To this day, I've never seen anything like it. I've studied the ancient Incas, I've studied the ancient Aztec Indians, I've studied the Egyptians. I've looked at pictures of Russian writing, I've looked at pictures of Polish writing.
I mean, is it the same language that's engraved in all of these pyramids? Because I don't know if you guys know about this. Because you check out all of these markings that's kind of engraved in the pyramids. You know, it seems like it's some sort of an Anunnaki language. The people that kind of built this stuff that lived before us humans, they are the ones who basically built it. So there are different symbols and nobody knows what it is, what kind of language it could be. But these symbols, look at this stuff. It's very similar to the ones that these guys are specifying. That the civilization that lived way before us are the ones that are still living under the water. I don't know, for whatever reason they went underwater. Could be because of what the Bible describes as God's wrath. And they're probably in the hiding until the second coming of Christ, and they're operating in the darkness, haven't revealed themselves yet to us humans. So it's a very mysterious place to be in as of now, because there is a lot of stuff that's going on that's bizarre. And recently we also got some sort of a UFO that seems to have landed in Manchester Airport. Like literally on the runway, this ball kind of a thing just landed. And the funny stuff is that the airport officials, they said that it's some sort of a balloon, nothing to worry about. It's just a balloon. So people can go back and relax. There is literally nothing to worry about. And after a couple of days, they've been claiming that the entire video or the pictures that were taken is probably fake. Now, I don't seem to be understanding, if they have already mentioned that it's a balloon, then why would they come out and again say that it's probably fake? So does that mean that they have no idea what it is, and they just assume that it's some sort of a balloon without really having to go ahead and do some research on what that actually is, what landed on the airport? They have no idea what these things are, and they just keep changing their statement. And I think, 21st is going to be a major, massive day for all of humanity, because Trump is most probably going to be revealing all of those secrets, everything that these guys are basically hiding for all this time. And that's one of the reasons why I believe they did not want Donald Trump to win, because he's probably going to reveal all of this information out to the public, because he's someone that's trying to bring back, the freedom of speech. People should know what actually goes on around the world. And there was a recent Tucker Carlson podcast, and Tucker actually believes that these things are not just some sort of UFOs or some technologies. And he in fact says that these are spiritual entities, meaning that they are demons. The demons that are already mentioned in the Bible, known as the fallen angels, and they have lived before us. And it seems like Tucker is making these statements based on some of the guys that he has spoken to, some of the guys who have direct contacts with all of these things. And some of them are the whistleblowers who have already worked with these space companies, and they know a lot of stuff, but at the same time, they can't really come out and tell these information on a national television, because that's going to get them in trouble. I think you guys should actually take a look at what these guys have to say here. Yeah, look at this stuff.
They joke about it in the same way that a lot of people joke about. They're like, no, there are no flying saucers from Mars.
Right.
Well, of course, they're not from Mars. They're not from another planet. They're from here. They've always been here. These are spiritual entities. This is my view, and I sincerely believe it. Can't prove it. But since you asked, so he is, I've never heard Elon say that's not true.
Be dismissive.
That there's nothing there. He just said, look, we monitor space. That's what they do, right? And this is self-evident. If there have been so many sightings in this country and around the world that if they were from
space, we would know it.
Far, far away, there would be some satellite evidence of that. They'd be picked up coming into our atmosphere. And of course, that's not, as far as I know, true.
Well, we do have some photos. I mean, there's that one photo of the one, I can't remember. It's in the James Fox documentary. So there are some of those, apparently.
Coming through space in here.
And certainly I've been told there's a lot more of
I think the documentary that they're speaking about is this one right here, where you can actually see like real footage of UFOs near a space shuttle. I don't know if you guys have seen this documentary. Just take a look at this. It seems like they have taken this whole imagery from one of the space shuttles, where these things are just flying all the way from Earth. Now, the image that you're seeing all the way down there is Earth. It's our planet. And there is these UAPs or UFOs or whatever that might be. It's flying towards the space shuttle. Look at this stuff. There are two of them. And this was like a real documentary as well. It seems to be hovering over near the space shuttle. Nobody knows what in the world that is. There is no clear image. Why can't they just have iPhones on these space shuttles though, honestly? Because we've got some crazy technology, but then everything just looks blurred. It's always blurred images, always blurred videos. And I believe that these are done intentionally in order to blur these out. They're not giving out, very accurate footage to the national televisions or the public. I mean, like, they might have very high quality footage with them, and they're not going to release it because there seems to be some very mysterious things that's currently going on.
Images, but yeah, I mean, there's also...
It would not surprise me, though. I mean, it's clear that these things reside, deep in the earth, under the water, and in the atmosphere. I do think all the Puzzle pieces are sort of in plain sight.
Did you ask Putin about it?
I did not ask Putin about it.
I mean, if you ask Putin, I think he kind of also said recently that he's going to reveal about aliens and all that stuff, whatever is going on. And Putin actually believes these things exist. Putin actually believes it, that, there is some life that is beyond us. But he hasn't really given us like an exact information as to what they are. I'm just, for some reason, I kind of feel that Trump is going to be the one who's going to break the silence and give an official announcement after he gets into the administration. Probably he already knows what those are. And in my conclusion, I believe that these are what we call as the demons that work in the spiritual realms, and they have some sort of technologies because they obviously lived on Earth before we humans existed. So that basically means that they have technologies and all that stuff. But then God disband them from Earth so that we humans can live here without them having to intervene. So that's probably why they live under the earth, like under the water. And now after all these years, they have decided to, show up to us humans for whatever reason. Maybe it's because the second coming of Christ is finally happening. I don't know, man. It's just my view of it. I don't know what you guys would believe. Let me know in the comments down below what your take is about all this whole situation that's going around.
I would never have done it on air. Because I did ask him a bunch of questions off camera.
Okay.
About, he has access to, of course, he controls the Soviet archives, and the Soviets are
he
great
asked
archivists.
Putin off camera.
And we know that from the, couple of, I'm interested in Soviet leadership and government and all that stuff. There have been a couple amazing books written. The Court of the Red Tsar being, I think, the greatest of them, about Stalin, for example. And one thing you learn from reading the book is they kept records on everything, almost like the Nazis, like crazy level records. And, most of them have never been disclosed. So I did have some questions for Putin about that, about Rudolf Hess specifically.
And what did he say?
Stories in history that doesn't make any sense at all.
What did he say?
The number 2 guy in Nazi Germany flying into Scotland in a plane by himself and bailing out. And one of the things he apparently said in his debriefs was he believed that Hitler was being influenced by demonic spirits that he had summoned through the occult. Huh? That's not worth knowing more about.
There's a lot of stuff on that.
There's a lot.
Wow.
There's a lot. But Hess said that. So I immediately asked Putin about that off camera. I didn't want to seem like a wacko having unauthorized questions, but I did ask him about that. He did not get a satisfactory answer, but I did not ask him about UFOs.
Wow. That's a real good question.
When I was on Joe,
that's a real good question that, Tucker Carlson just brought up. And as far as what Putin has to say, one of the most powerful leaders in the world, he believes because he has some information. And it seems like Hitler was influenced by some sort of demonic species. And that's probably who Anunnakis are. That's probably who these fallen angels are. And man, things are just getting super interesting as of now. Everything that we've been hearing about these aliens, UFOs, UAPs, or drones and all that situation. And now Trump getting into leadership, it seems like we'll finally get to know whatever good news or bad news it is. Because if it is bad news, I'm just guessing, the worst news that we could actually get is that these are not aliens. These are the fallen angels and they're going to destroy the world. That's like the worst news that we could get. Because as far as what the Bible mentions, these fallen angels are like very powerful. Because obviously these demons, they control in a very spiritual realm. They control your mind and body. And it's very weird. We don't know what kind of technologies they possess. And that's the one big thing I think the world needs to be worried about. What if, just in case the Bible and the scriptures are actually true? What if it's not aliens? What if these are fallen angels? Now, recently on January 8th, after the fire situation, everything that's been going on, some people have been capturing a weird alien kind of a creature floating around in the sky. And now I did some of my research about this stuff, and I'll let you guys know what this is. Apparently, if you take a close look at this stuff, it looks like it's some sort of a octopus kind of an alien creature that's just floating across in the sky. And people are really terrified looking at this stuff. Look at this.
It's not a kite. Kites are not going to just fly away. It's moving.
Look at this. That looks so freaking terrifying, right? But there is actually a very good explanation to this whole stuff. There's also another footage of like the same kind of a creature that was captured in another place, another city, and here it seems like it's very bizarre. Like, look at that stuff. It literally looks like a alien in some sort of an alien movie. Has like all of these arms, octopus jellyfish kind of appearance. These apparently seems to be some sort of a kite-like device. It's not exactly kite. It's some sort of a balloon which floats in the air that makes, people think that it's some sort of alien creature or something like that. It's just massive in size. Just take a look at this stuff. It's a 3D 26-meter Capricorn black octopus kite, one-line stunt, parafoil sport, outdoor toys. And it actually cost $600 if you want to get this stuff. And in situations like these, especially when a lot of people are looking in the sky just to see if they can find some sort of UAPs, UFOs, they might actually come across this kite, troll people out there, and this could become one of the most viral, sensational news out there in the world. Someone has used a very similar kind of a kite, to make people just get terrified. And that's just probably what it is. It's nothing to worry about. Not everything that we see is a kite, because recently it seems like in Pennsylvania, someone apparently just saw this, whatever it is, kind of looks like some sort of a huge, massive drone. And it apparently seems to be floating in the sky in the same location for a very, very long time. And they've been capturing this footage. Look at that stuff. And it's just standing there, just like that. Nobody knows what the hell that is. And we also have another footage, which is coming from Florida. And apparently this one is crazy, man. Just look at that stuff. Look at the amount of lights that just formed up in the sky. This is definitely not natural. I don't know how to even explain. That's no fireworks. That's no drones. Like, so many things just appearing at the same time. And this video is only 9 seconds as of now. I've actually seen like the full video. And what happens is, like, there's this dude who kind of points out a high intensified laser, a green laser, towards one of these lights or one of the UFOs that kind of just appears. And as soon as he does it, all of these different lights starts appearing out of nowhere. And I guess on 21st Jan, we will finally get our answers to everything. And what's actually very spooky about this whole stuff is that one of the craziest footage that was caught on a Congress parliament is that this woman, she's giving a speech, and behind her, there's some sort of a security officer or something. And she kind of does this lip sync thing. And whatever she's talking is the same thing that this woman who's talking on the mic is also talking. I mean, if you look at the video, it just seems like she's mind controlling this woman or something like that. We don't know. Just take a look at this stuff. It looks crazy, honestly. Look at this.
55 from the committee's interview.
Look at her face.
FBI employees. Just have some administrative matters first. I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview.
Look at that face. Oh my God.
FBI employee Roya Demlow, who.
That's crazy, right?
55 from the committee's interview.
That's crazy, man. She's behaving very spooky.
55 from the committee's interview, which took place on July 17, 2023.
And then later she realizes that, the camera is actually pointing towards her, and she stops it. Look at this.
Said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively.
She realizes, look at that stuff.
October 2020, that the laptop
she covers her face.
Biden, Ms. Demlow, they would be representing what I said because I don't have much knowledge of that. They would be misrepresenting what I said because I don't have.
Wow. I mean, she knows exactly what she's supposed to say. And then she comes to her and she's like, no, you're supposed to say misrepresenting. That's creepy.
Not much knowledge of that.
How does she know? I mean, who is even talking? What if all of the leaders that are currently in the White House or all the government who are actually ruling the world, what if these are some sort of, demons, Anunnakis, or fallen angels that are controlling these people? Honestly, man, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about everything that's going on lately, because January 21 is going to be a very, very exciting day. And of course, I will keep you guys updated if we get any information or any kind of bizarre stuff that happens. You know it. I will always keep you guys updated with everything on this channel every single day. Now, with that being said, if you guys want to stay tuned with all the latest current affairs, then make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free of cost. That's the best part about YouTube. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe, to the notifications on, and set it to all. Now, with that being said, if you guys did go on and enjoy this video, please make sure to go ahead, take a very tiny bit of your time and drop a like on this video. It really goes a long way to support my content. I really appreciate every single support that you guys have been showing so far. So with that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.